Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it. Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here, 8:30 a.m. EST here for the Algo Artisans. Thanks for watching. We're going to jump right in here, right? So you'll notice that I'm starting with the NASDAQ today because it has become increasingly clear that the NASDAQ has a lot to do with everything in the markets, including Bitcoin. When the NASDAQ dumps, Bitcoin dumps. And I've known this for many years. However, the difference is that right now, with political climate, with geopolitical events, this has never been more true. The correlation has never been stronger. So if we want to know, at least in the short term, what Bitcoin is going to do, we want to look at the NASDAQ, right? And it does look as if we're looking at a local top. So let's just flash over really quickly to the chart that I drew on Sunday, right? So this is the 3-hour chart. Now let's look at Sunday's prediction for the 3-hour chart on NASDAQ. Wow. Look familiar? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm pretty darn good at calling this out outside of any surprises from the current administration, because the current administration is known for changing their policy. I'm still sticking to this prediction. Now, that's a deep dive down. We may not even go that low, but as it stands right now, it does appear that we might be in a situation where price could head down. So let's see if we get any kind of news, right? It's basically a very low news week. We talked about this on Sunday, but there's not a lot going on in the U.S. news. Now, Wednesday, we do have the PMIs, and if those come extremely different to the prediction, then of course we could see something really big happen in markets, right? Up or down. And the same goes with unemployment claims, but that is a weekly metric. So the unemployment claims, I think the disparity between the prediction and the reality would have to be quite stark in order for something big to happen, right? There'd have to be a major difference between the prediction and then the reality of the numbers that come out. And let's remember that these numbers that come out, a lot of them we are not told what the calculation is. It's kept quiet. And I don't know why. I have no good explanation as to why they would not tell us how these numbers are calculated, except that they want to fudge them. And hey, man, you know what? That's life. Anytime that there is an attack phase, anytime you have a situation where there could be some type of fudging, some type of cheating, and it involves major things like finance or perhaps selecting your leader, you have to assume that something funny is probably going on because major money is involved. Controlling the world is involved, right? So how these numbers come out in the next couple of days could tell us a lot about what they want. And they is just a whole group of lots of people who have different competing interests. And it's not this fantasy people have about a room full of guys and there's like 12 of them. And anyway, let's get back to the chart. So I do think we're going to see this head down. Now, Bitcoin is a little bit different of a story here, right? Bitcoin has remained strong. And in fact, Bitcoin has been staying up in the higher area of prediction, right? So atypically, Bitcoin is not following NASDAQ on the way down, but I guarantee you, if NASDAQ were to have a strong break to the downside, we would see Bitcoin head down with it. Now, Bitcoin itself has a very strong daily chart, as I said on Sunday, so it is taking the higher road. Now, if this does break above 88,000 for Bitcoin, if it shoots up higher, then we might see a bull trap. And I did talk about this on the Sunday show. This is not the Sunday prediction, by the way. The Sunday prediction for Bitcoin is right here. And I did have it possibly peaking above and going up towards like 90,000. I think if Bitcoin does shoot up to 90,000, and it may do it earlier than I thought here on my alternate route, I think it might be short-lived. It might be a bull trap. It might shoot even higher just to get in the bulls and then head down. And if the NASDAQ dumps, then yes, I do think we will see Bitcoin go ahead and head back down. Now, another way to look at this is the USDJPY. And the USDJPY, you can see the Sunday prediction right here. And it's even more aggressively following the Sunday prediction. Now, I do think we're going to see a little bit of relief today, like starting very, very shortly. Let me look at my other chart here. But, I mean, I'm telling you right now, the USDJPY is very bearish, as we can see in the charts. And this is a reflection of the Japanese yen getting stuffed with money, as well as weakness in the dollar as compared to the yen. So why would money be going into the Japanese yen and pushing USDJPY down? Well, this is because in environments where the market is falling or expected to fall, money flows into the Japanese yen because historically the Japanese yen is a liquidity solution for global equity markets, especially the US equities market, if not for any other reason than the US equities market being the largest equities market in the world and the most important at this point. So, yeah, that might change in 5-10 years and China takes over. If they do, I think we're going to see. I don't think the situation is going to be as simple as that. The point being that I do see bearishness in the chart. A little bit of relief, maybe, a little bit maybe, but when you have this much bearishness, that's telling you that the currency markets, which in my opinion are the smartest markets, are not believing that the move up in the market is going to continue. And by the way, we don't really see a big move up in the NASDAQ. We just see bearishness. So Bitcoin at this point, I think, is having its own moment of pulling upwards. I think it's too short term of a look to say Bitcoin is decoupling from the market. I think it's a bit of just price had gone down for so long. There are a lot of bulls that bought in around the 74,000. And of course, you have a lot of people buying Bitcoin in general, but it is still within a range that has existed really going back to early March. So I do think we're going to continue to see this range, but with possibly a bit of a bull trap. What a bull trap is that they push price a little higher to get excited moon boys and girls in, and then they crash it down. They load up their shorts. They, being the institutional smart money, either sells or loads up their shorts, and then price heads back down. This is very possible. We could see this happen. And of course, there's always the possibility that Bitcoin continues up because you have a lot of people buying Bitcoin, but I don't think you're going to see it perform as well as gold. You can see the Sunday prediction here, gold being more aggressive than even I predicted, which I thought I was being relatively aggressive here. It did hit 35 and get crunched back down, but I do think it will probably continue up. I'd have to take a little bit of a look. Okay, so I think we're going to see at least sideways for today, maybe some up. I think gold's actually going to panic above 35, and this is actually a theory from Tom Luongo, who I really think does great work. He thinks people will panic into it and it'll crunch up to, like, say 36,100 or something else similar to 3,600, and then actually correct back down maybe to 3,100. And that is supported right here on the charts because on the way up on the higher time frame, you have this move right here to 3,100, right? So, this is very possible. We see a panic in and then a sell off and then more sideways for a week maybe, and then back up. Gold is rip roaring upwards, and I don't think there's very much to stop it in the current environment. So we might see a bit of relief in equities, maybe. We're seeing relief in Bitcoin, but USDJPY, which is a key teller of how the equities market may move, is still bearish. So I got eyes on that, which has me bearish bias on most things. All right, so that's it for the live lab. Go ahead and go to the description here. Link for your free algo is in the description, right? It's right there. Go get it. Go get your link. Give us your email address. You don't even have to give your real first name. I don't care. And what we're going to do is send you that free algo, and we can also send you updates. We're going to do some workshops where you can watch me trade for a few days. Probably going to happen later this quarter. Got a lot of things coming up with Algo Factory. So thank you all for watching. Okay. And don't forget, ever,
join us or die.
Just kidding. Alan Rickman is just kidding. We love you. Catch you on the flip side.